Oh, the stupidity of Jim Cornette. And what a great way to begin this series with this episode 1. Yes, it is a fact. Do your research. He said this. He really said this. Hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Jim Cornette really did say this. You know, Jim Cornette is a moron. Hit the like button. He's a fool. He's a bigot. He has stains in his depends. He'll be up out of here real soon. He's an atheist piece of trash. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. The stupidity of Jim Cornette. The nonsense. This is going to be a never-ending series because there's that much material. Jim Cornette is someone who worked in developmental. He's someone who was a talent scout. He's an individual who worked in the front office of many wrestling organizations. WCW, WWF, Ring of Honor, TNA, Ohio Valley Wrestling, what have you. Now, for the most part, although Cornette is a moron in many ways, he is actually good at scouting talent. But even the best scout has moronic views, perspectives. And when you speak of morons in wrestling, Cornette is definitely, top 2, top 3. He's someone who believed Matt Morgan should be main eventing WrestleMania for 10 years in the mid-2000s. Now, Matt Morgan, he did have talent, he did have the size, what have you, but they destroyed him with a stuttering gimmick. Jim Cornette is someone who said nonsense like, Triple H will never draw. Triple H will never amount to anything in this business. He said this in like 97, 96, 97. Triple H will never be anything in wrestling. That's just nonsense. But Cornette, most of his opinions are based on biases or biases. Most of that probably came from, well, I don't like Shawn Michaels because Jim Cornette is a grown child. Well, I don't like this person, and since you're with this person, that means you must be like them, so you have to get it too. Does that not sound like a grown child? Speaking of grown children, I'm sure there's a bunch of grown neckbeards who'll be crying in the comments because of the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this video. Like I give a damn. You just get blocked and removed. You never existed. Hit the Cash App to support this video, this channel. Most of these videos do come from donations from people just like you. Shout out to the new supporters. If you want to support the channel, if you have a video request, you can donate to the Cash App in the description or hit the thanks button. Now, Cornette is someone who said Triple H will never amount to anything in this business. That's hysterical. that's almost, that's almost comparable to the high school coach who cut Michael Jordan. That's almost comparable to, there's a lot of comparisons to that. It's just, what are you basing this off of? Like in 96, Triple H clearly had some talent. Now in 96, could you guess that in 4 years he's gonna look like He-Man and he's gonna be the biggest heel in wrestling? No. But to say he would amount to nothing is just it's absurd. If you look at Triple H in 96, but you look at Matt Morgan in 02 OVW, Triple H definitely has more potential. But a guess is a guess. But his whole thing with Triple H, that was just clear bias of, well, Shawn Michaels was rude to me. Well, did you threaten him? Did you fight him? No, but you want to fight Vince Russo because Cornette's a coward. Have you seen his wife? Have you seen his Mark lawyer? P. New, please. Shout out to Kenny Bolin, the star maker, the man who made Cornette. Now, when Jim Cornette is in OVW, he did correctly predict that Batista would be a main eventer. He did predict that Cena would be something. He did predict that Randy Orton would be something. But those were kind of obvious when you're looking at them compared to, like, I don't know, Nick Dinsmore. But Cornette was a good trainer. But his lunacy is in and out of everything he does, says, and is affiliated with. That's just a fact. One of these people that Cornette had this drastic view of was Bob Holly. Yes, Bob Holly. Hardcore Holly. Cornette, who's always biased, everything about him is a bias and delusion, and one of his biases was for Bob Holly. Now, Bob Holly is someone who, he was born in California, he moved to Oregon, then I believe he moved down south, he got into like NASCAR racing, whatever the case, so that whole southern connection, and Bob Holly was somebody much like JBL, and just check out my latest upload a few days ago, one of my recent uploads of JBL and his tactics of harassing people, and how Cornette thought it was so funny and just, it was just jolly. Well, it's funny how Cornette buddies up to the quote-unquote bullies of the industry, and another one of his friends like that was Hardcore Holly. Now, Hardcore Holly, who had a history of the infamous Tough Enough incident, he had a history of taking out his frustrations or lack of push or whatever on young talents like a Randy Orton. Hardcore Holly is one of these people, Bob Holly. But Cornette loved him. Oh, one of his good old boys. And Cornette loved Bob Holly so much. When Bob Holly was a young wrestler, Cornette went on the record and said, Bob Holly one day will be the next Ric Flair. He said this. Look it up. Cornette said Bob Holly could be the next Ric Flair in that ilk. He said that. And he said this in the early 90s. What about Bob Holly ever said Ric Flair? The genius Cornette said this. What about him? What about Crash Holly's cousin says the Nature Boy? What? What one thing about him? Charisma? Bob Holly is like in the Steve Blackman category of no charisma, no speaking ability. Now, that's how most people view Bob Holly, but there were short times in late 99, 2000 where Bob Holly did get time to speak on the mic, and he actually was a good speaker. But being a good speaker and being charismatic are two different things. Being a good speaker and drawing people are two different things. And this was Cornette's brilliant talent scouting, his brilliant eye. Triple H will be nothing but Bob Holly, the Nature Boy. Oh, yes. Bob Holly will carry a company one day. Bob Holly. Now, I think if you look at his career, you could say Bob Holly had a good career. You know, he buddied up to Pritchard and McMahon, and he was one of their enforcers. And matter of fact, I have a video about how JR used to sick Bob Holly and the APA on certain talents as a form of physical revenge on the way certain people were backstage. Because JR likes to present himself as being victimized. No, JR did a lot of foul things to a lot of people. And that'll be an upload coming very soon. And with that said, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm up out of here. That is it.